Welcome back, everybody, to the XHL. I hope you guys enjoyed the last two episodes. I thought they've been pretty fun. The two All-Star Game festivities, one against the Arizona Coyotes, which was the winner of the XHL All-Star Game. So the Western Conference All-Stars beat the Eastern All-Stars, and as a reward, they got to take on an NHL caliber squad. And if we won, we got to take on their best player. If we lost, well, I haven't decided quite yet if I wanted to do that or not. I hadn't been too committed yet or not. But I thought that might be a little cool twist, maybe for year 2, maybe year 3. What do you guys think? If an XHL team loses to an NHL team, do they lose their best player? Might be interesting for some storylines. Maybe we can get those players back, right? So you lose them, then you can get them back the next season. So I don't know, kind of an interesting concept. But guys, in this episode, we're going to be doing some simulation of the regular season. As you guys can see right quick, we have a lot of our XHL custom teams at the top of each of their divisions. And we're just going to go ahead and simulate the final portion of the regular season and get a playoff look. So we got Seattle, Albuquerque, Tucson, Utah, all making the playoffs here in the Mountain Division, which is actually the Pacific Division is what I'm going to be calling it. And if we go ahead and take a look at the next division here, we'll take a look at the Central. So we'll get some playoff matchups here, and I'll show you guys the bracket. But we got Dakota, Houston, KC, and Toledo. And then on the east side, we got the Dragons, the Biscuits, the Red Hawks, and the Growlers. So following a familiar trend here, we got 3 XHL custom teams, and then the 4 seed in each division looks like it's going to be one of those real-life teams. So there is your playoff bracket. We've got the Dukes against the Armadillos, the Nighthawks and the Grizzlies, Houston against Kansas City, Dakota against Toledo, and on the eastern side, we've got Tampa Bay, South Carolina, Baltimore, Richmond, Newfoundland, Brooklyn, and Atlanta versus Charleston. So some pretty interesting matchups all the way around. And remember, this is a 1-game knockout, so it's a 1-game playoff. And the reason why I did this is that I can fit more and more seasons into each video. And that's really what we're going to be shooting for. We're going to be getting through as many seasons as we possibly can. And the playoffs just take forever, guys. I mean, this is something I've learned from the GGBL. It's something I've learned from the XBA. Dare I say that word ever again on the channel? But overall, just the playoffs just take a long time, especially when they're a best of 7. You know, like you could get into a situation where you've got a long video of the same 2 teams playing against each other. So yes, there's drama in Game 7. Yes, there's some intrigue when you start dealing with the matchups in, Game 6, the importance of Game 5, so on and so forth. But I figure this is also the same thing. Like, we're just cutting to the chase, right? This is a Game 7 right now. So that's how we're going to run this. But let's talk about how the playoffs are going to shape up, guys. Let's take a look at some of the top performers. And in the next couple of seconds, we're going to be showing team by team. So we're not just going to be looking at the top performers across the league. We're going to be looking at team by team, who was the top goal scorers, who was the top point getters, saves, so on and so forth. Who are the best guys, right? What does production look like? So up on your screen, we're going to be talking about the Albuquerque Dukes, guys. And Jesse Pinkman had the perfect number, 69, 24 goals, 45 assists. He would, right? He would completely do that. Blake Como, the veteran, had 20 goals this season. I thought that was a solid season for him. Outside of that, it was a very solid season for Albuquerque. Now, by comparison, they had a little bit of offensive woe, I guess you'd say. Like they got to get a little bit more. They got to get somebody in there that can score some goals for them. Because ultimately, like when you come over and you look at Atlanta, where they got 32 goals from Jaleel Neal and 31 from Riegelwood, 40 from Ryan LeBrake. Like, this team can score. The issue with Atlanta is that their defensemen are very, very lowly rated. Like, they don't have a lot of really good defensemen, so it seems like they're going to give up a lot of goals. And Hutchinson's only had 3 shutouts. Henderson actually had 5 shutouts, so it seems like Victor Henderson, the custom player, is looking like he is going to be the heir apparent there to Hutchinson. But Baltimore on the other side, Evan Rodriguez was pretty nuts, guys. 25 goals, 60 assists for this man. And Burke with 34, Hartman, Magerman, 20+ each. It's a very solid team. I've gushed about them. I've ranted and raved about them in gameplay, about how good of an offense that they have. They love to pass the puck around. very good team. Goaltending, solid. So, kind of look out for Baltimore in their matchup against Richmond. Should be a close game all the way around. Now, when we look at a team like Brooklyn, we see how Broadway's got 23. Perlini's got 22. Zilberman has 20. I still have to edit his name. Orsland had 32. Weekdays with 20. It's a very good team, guys. Brooklyn has a lot of good offensive pieces, so I'm really thinking that Brooklyn might be able to make a run out there on the eastern side. They are the best team statistically. I mean, look at the goaltending: 27-2 for Dell, 32-8 for Borhoff. I mean, what else? What else can you say? What's not to love about Brooklyn? They were the number one team in the East. On the other side, you had Seattle, who was the number one team on the West. So both teams are just absolutely loaded. They would probably be my favorites to make it out of the XHL playoffs on either side to get to the. What are we going to call the championship game? Post in the comments, guys. What do you want the championship game to be called? The XHL championship? That's boring. What do you want it to be called? It's actually going to be, because we're in the ECHL, it's going to be the ECHL trophy. That's the design that it's going to be. There's nothing I can really do about that. So it is what it is. No Stanley Cup. No Stanley Cup replica. So, that is what it is. Now, why did I skip Charleston? Because they're actually rated the worst XHL team. We saw that with their record. But they made the playoffs, so you can't really count them out per se, but it's going to be an uphill climb for them, guys. It's not going to be an easy matchup for them taking on the Atlanta Flames. That will be a tough road to hoe. But Houston, they're behind a really good goaltender and all-star goalie Braden Holtby. 38-9 this man went, and I think that's amazing for that team. So he was one of the better goalies in the XHL as well. But now, Alexeyev almost had 100 points for Kansas City. We talked about their offense. We talked about how many goal scorers that they have. If you really like Brooklyn, if you like Baltimore's offense on the west side, if I had to pick, I'd probably go with Seattle and Kansas City as having some of the best offenses in the game. Plus, we got Brodeur, a young goaltender, with Lyon, 20-plus games, won each. So, yeah, Kansas City's kind of a sneaky good team and one to watch out for. Now, Richmond's been very quiet. Look at, they got Stepan, Wright, and Chisholm, all with 70-plus points, and a really nice disbursement of goals and assists. Plus, they had Morrow with 39 and 19. The only thing with Richmond is that they might have a good top three, the top four, but their depth might be an issue. You got Primoz at 24 and 12, Yoshida at 19 and 11. Interesting team, guys. They might get a little sneaky inside the playoffs, so watch out for them. Now, the two guys here, Rob Romero and Nugmanov, Kurmangazi, Nugmanov, 116 points and 121 points. Absolutely insane. 73 assists for Nugmanov, 70 assists for Romero. Those two guys are really carrying the Nighthawks to a 1 seed. So watch out for them. I mean, they're taking on the Utah Grizzlies, who play some good defense, but they've also got some good goaltenders, man. Corey Schneider only lost 2 games. And then Ty Walker Jr. went 39-9, so he went crazy too. Talk about who went crazy. Look at Joe Casimir, 120 points, had 64 goals, 56 assists. So where Nugmanov had more assists, Casimir went off with 60-plus goals in his rookie season in the XHL. So you want to talk about maybe guys to watch out for here in the MVP race? Probably Nugmanov, probably Casimir, maybe Alexeyev. He almost had 100 points as well. So those are my top 3 guys. But again, you talk about Dakota. This team, very defensive-minded. They're kind of an enforcer type of team, and now that they've got 2 guys that are good offensive pieces like they are, this team can be pretty dangerous. They can get physical with you, and then they've got 2 guys that have a little finesse to their game that can score a lot of goals and be offensive weapons. Now, talk about Tampa Bay. Goaltending is pretty good. Hammond was an all-star, 26 and 7. Davenport, 29 and 2. And they spread the love around, man. They've got a lot of offensive pieces, a lot of offensive weapons there. I really like Tucson this season. 79 points for Buck Wilson. Stockton was 71. Eric Stahl was 61 points. and a nice even spread and good disbursement across the rest of the team. So very Baltimore-esque with Tucson, but I think that they're kind of a team to watch out for in the playoffs. 27-17 for Lion Trees. He had the most losses out of any custom goaltender, but he also got more run out of everybody by comparison. So, guys, that's pretty much it for the video here today. A very short one. I know that the XHL content has been a little bit lacking. I'm gonna say it. You know, the live streams are fun every now and then, but you know, ultimately you want to see some gameplay, right? You want to see some gameplay between the XHL teams, but it's just the time of the year, right? It's just the time of the year. We got the All-Star festivities, we got the All-Star games, and now we got pretty much the ECHL, OHL type teams. They're not going to really give us a problem. They're not going to give us a challenge. So this season was already locked up, like by the midway point anyway. So why not just get cut to the chase and get straight to it? Let's get into the playoffs. Let's get season 1 over with so we can get into the draft, we can get into free agency, we can get all that stuff done so that you guys can kind of see how the league is going to work, you know, in future seasons. Expansion teams, relegation game, so on and so forth. So guys, that's it for the video. Leave a like if you like this thing. I will see you in the next one coming up here on Friday. Sunday the 27th will be the semifinals and then the conference finals. We're going to put that all in one video, and then we're going to do the championship game because it is a single knockout game. We're going to do that as a live stream on December 2nd. So that's what the schedule kind of looks like. We got today was season sim, stats updates, playoff previews, and Friday the 25th will be all of round 1. Sunday the 27th, round 2 and round 3, and then Friday, December 2nd will be the championship game, yet to be titled, right? We don't know what the name of the cup is going to be, or the trophy. Anxious to hear what you guys have for ideas about that inside the comment section. So guys, leave a like if you like this thing. I'll see you in the next one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and peace.